Sometimes it takes legendary reporting from Vanity Fair to get to the real truth of the Snyder Cut. Let's get to it.
From the bottom of my heart, you guys, thank you so much.
Thank you for watching
this guy's channel, Jody's channel.
Jody's Corner.
No.
My favorite.
Thank you so much.
YouTube was good. It's your boy Jody Joe. Welcome to Jody's Corner. This is going to be a fire video. This is going to piss a lot of people off because truth is in this motherfucker, but there's a whole lot of JODYDAMUS going up in this thing. God dang. Vanity Fair put an article out that completely covers the Snyder Cut and Snyder and DC from beginning to end. Let's get right into it. Oh, by the way, Snyder confirms the Justice League, the Snyder Cut didn't really exist. It was just raw footage on a laptop. JODYDAMUS! But we'll get there in a second. So it starts off like, did Snyder rise to power? What caused it? You know, shout out to you. You know, look at this bra picture. Zach is sexualizing Gal. That's terrible. I'm just trolling. I don't care. She's sexy. I love the image. All the SJWs out here. If someone looks sexy, they got to be sexy. Always liked that about Snyder. He appreciated sexy women, as do I. But then we're talking about what got him here. It's this article describes some of his fans as worshiping his early films like 300, films like Watchmen, and films like Dawn of the Dead, 2004, right? So great movies, all of them great movies. So that's why they even said that he was given the keys to DC. He was actually given the keys to make what he wanted. And then we're gonna get to this trash sheet that's from the Snyder Cut. Jared Leto's Joker looked whack. This Jesus reenactment bullshit going on here, blasphemous. And not blasphemous from a religious standpoint, which it obviously is. Blasphemous from the standpoint that, God dang, why is Snyder so into this Jesus saving on this villain, this motherfucker? We're going live tonight at 5 o'clock on Jody's Corner Live, the littest pop culture channel show on YouTube. There's no place like it. It's the place where you want to be. I invite you all to be there. We're going to have all this. You know, tonight, 5 p.m. Pacific time, right here tonight, Monday on Jody's Corner. Okay. So they talked about his daughter, which I'm not going to talk about. It's none of my business. Yay Fisher here looking really yay fishery, looking real weak. So here's a quote. It became a pattern that the studio gave Snyder the power to go anywhere he chose with his most valuable characters. And he always went somewhere other than what they wanted. That's a quote. Zack Snyder was given the keys. He was the Feige of DC. JODYDAMUS. I said that in my previous video about Clay Enos when I released the source of Clay Enos and why Zack Snyder had a plot to take down Warner Brothers and get revenge on the people that kind of pushed him out. And now that once we read this article and then go back and watch my Clay Enos video, all of it lines up. Vanity Fair, their article and their research, and my Clay Enos video where I recapped all of DC, it lines up. You hear the names Jeff Johns. You hear the names Kevin Tsujihara, often in this Vanity Fair article, often in my source video. The truth is all there, baby. The truth is all there. God dang it. So that was a problem. You know, they gave him the keys, and off jump, he was doing stuff with the characters that Warner Brothers did not want. The studio did not want it. Zack Snyder was known as, amongst Warner Brothers, as the guy who was visually all this, but he just narratively, and he couldn't get the characters right and do them justice. And here's where things start to get weird. And here's another JODYDAMUS moment. In my freaking video where I talked about Clay Enos and the plot, I talked about what happened after BVS came out. Everybody is pointing to Justice League. Everybody thinks that things happened with Justice League. No, even in my video, I said it was once BVS came out, the sad Affleck memes and the whole, my rant, everyone else's rants, the disappointing critical reception, the underwhelming box office, that was when Warner Brothers decided we got to get rid of this man. How do we go about doing it? We got to muzzle him, tame him down. And, you know, some people will think that that's abusive, but it's the business. So let's go ahead and get into it. But harsh reviews of Batman vs. Superman demolished Warner Brothers' confidence in Snyder. Even the director's champions like production head Greg Silverman, he worried. He said, quote, when Batman vs. Superman came out and we did a negative negative reaction from the fans, it was disheartening for all of us. Zack had made these movies like 300 and that were crowd pleasers, and our job was to make crowd pleasers. And here we have a movie that we made together and it didn't really please the audience. So here is this producer acknowledging we failed. We failed by our own standards and Warner Brothers standards. BVS is probably, and this is why I tell you, it's probably even the Ultimate Edition. Listen to me. Ultimate Edition, it was a separate video. You guys are weird. I reviewed Ultimate Edition. It's a better film, B-, but it's a trash superhero movie still. Understand that. Man of Steel is a great film. It's a trash Superman film. Why do I watch these movies? For the superheroes. I watch them for the superheroes. That's why I watch them. That's why I love Wonder Woman 84 so much. Because she's the most superhero hero in DC, period, right now. Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman in Wonder Woman 84 is the most superhero since Christopher Reeve's Superman. And that's Hope Bright. That makes you tingle inside. Love it. God dang, these people just don't get it. Warner Brothers does, though. I feel y'all. So they didn't please the audience. And it was a huge failure. And then this quote right here is what's going to prove the Snyder Cut didn't exist. When Snyder quit, he took his unfinished Justice League on a laptop. He had a laptop with a Justice League sticker on it. He just, before he packed, you pack up your things, get out of your office, he just took that laptop and said, man, I'll just show this to my friends one day. Because he knew that he was on his way out and that the cut wasn't done. But we're going to JODYDAMUS that a little bit later. And Marvel Studios had so much success with their shared universe and all that stuff. And it was something that they wanted to mimic and wanted to copy, which is the right thing to do. When Tesla's doing it right, copy Tesla. Do as the Joneses do. In 2016, he got principal photography. Berg was now production president of the Stampede, recalls that the duty was a low point. Let me here it is. Oh my God. It's something really crazy. Here it is. In 2016, they talk about Kevin Sugihara. Who said Kevin Sugihara? Oh, yes, we have heard that name since Jody said it in the Clay Enos video. Kevin Sugihara put John Berg and Jeff Johns as Snyder's bosses to watch him and make sure he didn't screw up Justice League. They were literally his pets. Look at this article. In 2016, as principal photography got underway for Justice League in the United Kingdom, rumors percolated that Snyder had been fired from the film. That didn't happen. But Warner Brothers then chairman CEO Kevin Sugihara did assign watchdogs in the form of DC Entertainment creative Jeff Johns and Warner Brothers co-production head John Berg. The edict was clear. At least one of them had to be on set every day. What? Kevin Sugihara didn't trust Snyder so much, he put Jeff Johns and John Berg to watch him on set. At least one of them had to be on set every single day Snyder was shooting. That's crazy. That just goes to show you how much they freaking hated Snyder's vision and they wanted him gone. But here's the thing. Zack Snyder was under contract for Justice League. The third film, which was Justice League, was going to end his contract. And as soon as that was over, he was done. But they were like, oh, let me bite the bullet. Now are you guys understanding? JODYDAMUS! With my Clay Enos video where I said Kevin Sugihara, Jeff Johns, Joss Whedon, and we see here John Berg. These names are familiar. Kevin Sugihara left before Ye Fisher started talking because if Kevin Sugihara was still there, he would have named him too. Number one, he would have been the number one enemy. Ye Fisher also named these exact same people in his initial complaint. Jeff Johns, John Berg, Joss Whedon. Could it be because you saw and everyone knew that they were the watchdogs to look over Snyder? And Snyder, man, this shit is too easy out here, bro. God dang, bro. I need to. Shit's too easy, bro. All right. Berg, who's now production president at Stampede, he recalls that duty was a low point. He said, quote, it was really tricky and not a position that I love, to be honest. I tried to be forthright about what I thought creatively. My job was to try and mediate between the creators whose vision is instinctually dark, and a studio that perceived rightly or wrong that the fans wanted something lighter. I was respectful of the director and didn't pursue things that weren't coming at me from a corporate side that I thought weren't in line with what would make the best movie. He says right here, they put me there to make sure that I found a blend between your dark, depressing universe and what Warner Brothers wanted. And he said he gave suggestions to Snyder, made up some little scenarios, and they worked together. And then Snyder reacted to it. Snyder knew why Johnson Berg were on set. He said, quote, "You could babysit," he says. "Many filmmakers would have bristled at the intuition, but he was gracious." He said, "It didn't bother me too much because they weren't that threatening. I just felt the ideas they did have, they were trying to inject humor and stuff like that. It wasn't anything that was too outrageous." And you know, Zack Snyder don't like the humor and the cheese. So, you know, naturally there was a little bit of a conflict there, right? Mira right here, who's rumored to be gone. The rumors that I'm hearing is that Emilia Clarke is going to be taking over her role. It's rumors. I hope that happens because Amber Heard is toxic trash and she needs to go. She's a man beater. You know, she's an actual abuser. Ye Fisher, you stupid idiot. Ye Fisher, why didn't you talk bad about Amber Heard? An actual proven abuser. Y'all ain't shit. And I'm gotta tell you, y'all ain't shit. The fact that Ye Fisher talked for 6 months about John Berg and Jeff Johns and Joss Whedon, when you got an actual abusing, finger-severing, pooping in the bed bitch right here, blows me the freak away. Y'all ain't shit. JODYDAMUS. Warner Brothers did nix some spewings for Justice League. Here it is. We're about to get real blasphemous. I need you guys to buckle in your seats, because what you're about to hear is probably going to trigger you. Let's just get into it. We're going to talk about his intention. Warner Brothers actually stepped in and stopped something from happening. When I say Warner Brothers, this is probably Jeff Johns or John Berg, because they were put to make sure to look over Snyder and make sure everything is good. So this is what would have happened if Jeff Johns or John Berg or Warner Brothers didn't step in and say, nah, take that out. Here we go. They wanted to add romance between Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne and Lois Lane after Superman died. Oh my God. Let's go straight from quotes to the man Snyder himself. Snyder says the intention was that Bruce fell in love with Lois and then realized that the only way to save the world is to bring Superman back to life. So he had this insane conflict, of course, because of Lois, he was still in love with Superman. We had this beautiful speech where Bruce said to Alfred, "I never had a life outside the cave. I never imagined a world for me beyond this. But this woman makes me think that if I can get this group of gods together, then my job is done. I can quit. I can stop." And of course, that doesn't work out for him. Zack Snyder tried to make Batman take Superman's girl after contributing to his death and after he was dead in the grave. And he was going to come back to life and see Batman with his girl. Why would you do that to people why would you try to institute that real hate between two iconic characters who are very much best friends? Batman and Superman are like brothers, man. Two different sides of the coin, but still brothers. I can't believe that this shit blows my mind. And this is exactly why Zack Snyder was let go, or why he walked away. Either mutual, whatever the freak you want to call it. That's why he exited. You can't do that to these characters. Holy crap. It didn't work for Snyder either. The studio said no. Strike another W for Warner Brothers. Save me from a heart attack. The downside of making things epic, studios' financial expectations for Justice League wanted a big round $1 billion box office, which Snyder's movies had never reached. In January 2017, the director showed his first cut to Tsujihara. It did not go well, according to Snyder and others. Among the issues was the length. There was a mandate from Kevin Tsujihara that the movie should be 2 hours long. And then Snyder says, I could do 2 hours, but it could be done. But sheesh, 2 hours? I made almost 3-4 hours of the movie. What's going on? Yeah, that's why we got rid of irises in Flash, and they made it happen. Reports that Snyder himself asked for Joss Whedon's help is false. Johns is one of the studio appointed babysitters, Jeff Johns. He had been planning a Batgirl movie with Joss Whedon, and Snyder and others say that Jeff Johns recruited him to do rewrites for Justice League. Now, this is important. Jeff Johns is the one who brought in Joss Whedon to do rewrites for Justice League while Snyder was still working. This is, all of these things combined is what made Snyder leave. The daughter aside, because he was still working with the situation. Zack Snyder knew that his time was numbered. They were hijacking his movie. They were fixing and taking over his creative vision, and he exited. This is telling. It got so bad. And, it got so bad to the point where and I don't really love this. I don't really love the fact that, you hiring these people to look over this man. And if he's under contract. If you gonna let this motherfucker direct the movie, you gave him a 3-picture deal. Let him crash and burn it, But I'm glad that you guys stepped in and made some of these course changes. The Bruce Wayne and Superman thing. Oh my, Lois. Oh my God. Blasphemy. Once again, Snyder was gracious and even hopeful. Snyder even says he welcomed Joss Whedon. He says, I thought maybe we could write some cool scenes. That would be fun. So Joss Whedon was actually working with Snyder, getting trained to replace him. Soon it became clear that Warner Brothers was giving Whedon more and more power. He would not just advise during the reshoots, but he would also be directing some of them himself. Come on, guys. This is effed up. Imagine them. They basically fired you, Zach, without firing you. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and put this producer here and look over your decisions. And this guy who's going to be watching you 24/7. Oh, and this guy right here, we're going to have him do some rewrites on your script. And direct. Yeah, also direct. Everything around Zack Snyder was just people who just didn't want him there. And it's freak, Snyder, I would have left too. So I feel you on why you left. I understand. I would have left. I want to deal. You got a lot of patience, bruh. I would have been gone as soon as they start putting motherfuckers over my back. Like, but that's just me being you. I would also understand why they're doing it. That's the thing. I would understand why these things are happening. But this shows how much Warner Brothers, and didn't I say JODYDAMUS? Warner Brothers hated Zack Snyder and his vision. Not him personally, just hated his movies, hated his vision for DC, and they hated that they cost them millions of dollars. Hated the fact that they didn't make the money they wanted. That's the truth. And that's what I already said in my Clay Enos video, where the cult just are weirdos who do. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. For sure. Well, you're going to know what I talk about when March comes and this movie comes out and it's going to be a train wreck. And we can finally move forward from this man's creative vision for DC. They were giving him more stuff and he was directing stuff. Snyder says he only had one conversation with Joss Whedon about the studio's notes. Reeling from Autumn's death and finding anguish in their work rather than relief, Zach and Deborah quit. He says, we just lost the will to fight in a lot of ways. All of us, the whole family, we're just broken. And we have a conversation. We was like, really? Frankly, we did everything right, because I think it would have been either incredibly belligerent or we would just roll over. One by one, he called members of the cast and crew. I remember I was in a movie theater with Ye Fisher. We talking about. Then we talking about him bringing in Whedon with the rewrites, and someone said that Whedon stuff was goofy. The robber on the rooftop, so goofy and awful. That's one of the best scenes of the film, where Batman was actually on the water tower, did that backflip, and the water came in. That's classic Batman animated series right there. Disagree heavily with that. The Russian family, so useless and pointless. Correct. Why was that Russian family in the movie? Don't know. All right. Justice League open. We talk about the failure of Justice League. And then we see, more clips and stuff here. When Snyder left, here's the Snyder Cut. Does the Snyder Cut exist? Did it ever exist? The answer, ladies and gentlemen, is no. When Snyder left Warner Brothers, he took his laptop, which was emblazoned with the Justice League sticker. On the hard drive was his original, nearly 4-hour version. It was devoid of visual effects, music, all of the fine tuning that would make a movie a movie. It was devoid of edits, CG, music, and all of the fine tuning that you could make a movie and call it a movie. Ain't no Snyder Cut. Well, there is now. They made it. $70 million, and a year later, now we have a Snyder Cut. I've been saying it for the longest time. Ain't no cut. There's raw footage on a laptop. Now, I'm sorry. You can call it a assembly cut, director, pre-roll cut. Nigga, that's raw footage put in succession. That ain't no film. It ain't no director's cut. Release the Snyder Cut. Ain't no Snyder Cut. Well, it wasn't back then. JODYDAMUS. Anyway, all the fine tuning that'll make a movie. It was also in black and white. To him, it was a memento. He thought, man, we would just show it to random people who would stop by from like friends or whatever. Oh, could one of those friends have been Jason Momoa's Aquaman, who went out and had an interview and lied to the world saying, you don't think this is cut? You don't think this is cut? It absolutely exists. Jason, you lied. You saw raw footage on a laptop, my G. Miss me with that shit. I think it's all you're capping. Rather than fade away, the demand of Snyder Cut gained momentum. They talk about, the noxious contingent of followers, though, didn't advocate for the movie. They also wanted the media to attack people. They also used social media to attack people who were critical of Snyder for their cause, the Snyder cult. The Snyder cult. Maybe they would silence dissenters, or maybe they were just trolls being trolls. In any case, film journalists with negative takes reporting getting swarmed with insults and even threats. Quote, unfortunately, I think a lot of online fandom and fandom culture is headed in this very toxic direction, says Kaylee Donaldson, who writes for Pajiba.com, or I hope I didn't butcher that. It is especially strong from Snyder Cut acolytes. Let me correct that for you, my lady. Snyder cult. It is especially strong from Snyder Cut acolytes, she adds, perhaps because they respond misguidedly to the director's tales of loner heroes in a hostile world. Quote, I don't get this from the Birds of Prey fans or the Shazam fans, says Donaldson. I got a little bit from Joker fans, but nowhere near the same level. Nonetheless, she's looking forward to Snyder's movie. She says, I think 300 is great fun. I think the first 10 minutes of Watchmen are awesome and the best things any superhero movie has ever done. Even if she doesn't end up liking the Snyder Cut, she says, I would rather watch one person's chaos than a committee's snooze fest. I could agree with that. Which can manifest, here we go. A clinical psychologist who explores superhero archetypes in Arkham sessions says, what I observed is an enduring false sense of ownership, which can manifest as abuse, threats, and strong, intense reactions when a story doesn't go their way. She says, fighting for the unseen cut of the film became a cause. In some quarters, the worst behavior metastasized. Quote, they're shouting and people are listening to them. Even if it's negative comments, they're getting positive reinforcement to continue down that path. A psychologist psychoanalyzed the Snyder cult into exactly why they got fueled. Because HBO Max, AT&T, trash Jason Kilar came in, overruled Warner Brothers by hijacking them, saying, you know what? This toxic fandom that you guys have been fighting for 4 years, I'm going to go in and give that mouse a cookie, and hopefully they won't get thirsty for a glass of milk. This is what ruined the future for DC as I knew it, and why I just said, you know what, I'm out of here. Deuces. I'll come back when you motherfuckers get your shit together. The trolls may have actually held back the movement, like looters at an otherwise peaceful demonstration. And then it says here that Snyder cringes at the descriptions of the abusive tactics. Really, Zach? You cringing at the abuse that people like me have gotten over these last few years? That's nice to hear. What did he say? He says, I 100% think it's wrong. I don't think that anyone should be calling anyone anything. I've always tried to give people in the fandom attention who do good things. You give attention to people who do good things. What about all of the people whose attention you've given who are in the cult, who do bad things? This isn't true. You've lobbied on channels and went to interviews and on people who are 100% in the cult, who spew toxicity and hate against anybody who doesn't agree with your vision. It's weird to me. November 2019 brought a sustained hashtag, released SnyderCut. Also, there was a right to make it logistically financially impossible. Toby Emmerich came to him, said, "Hey man, let's get this done." Toby Emmerich, who was clearly sent by AT&T, Jason Kilar, and others. Initially, Snyder wanted to just here it is. Look at this is crazy. Here's more proof of why the Snyder Cut never existed and how Warner Brothers really didn't want to do this film. They just want to say, all right, just what do you got, man? What do you got on the laptop? Just put it out. Check this shit out. Initially, Snyder says Warner Brothers just wanted to release the raw footage on his laptop. The raw footage on his laptop. That's what you call the Snyder Cut. You guys have been lied to. JODYDAMUS has been telling this truth out here. Subscribe to the channel for more of that real content, my guy. Ha! Anyway, they just want to release the raw footage of the laptop. He said, I was like, that's a no. That's a hard no, he says. And they're like, but why? You could just put up the rough cut. Snyder did not trust Warner Brothers. He says, here's why. 3 reasons. 1, you get the internet off of your back, which is probably your main reason for wanting to do this. That's him like, my cult has been wrecking your shit for years. And if you give me my cut and the millions of dollars that I need to finish it, then maybe I'll call my goons off of you and you'll stop hearing about them. Oh, bro, this is some crazy shit. He said, all right, you get the internet off your back, which is probably why your main reason for doing this. 2, you get to feel vindicated for making things right, I guess, on some level. And 3, you get a shitty version of the movie that you can point and go, see? It wasn't that good anyway. So maybe I was right. I was like, no chance. I would rather just have the Snyder Cut be a mythical unicorn for all time. Ladies and gentlemen, Snyder says, I don't even trust you motherfuckers, bro. You wanted to release my raw footage so people could be like, yo, this shit is trash garbage. It's not even a cut. This is the cut. Oh my God. Toby Emmerich. Oh man, fuck. That's some cold shit. The hate that Warner Brothers has for Snyder, they hated. I know Toby Emmerich hated the idea of having him to talk to Snyder about the Snyder Cut. He said, hey bro, let me just release your footage. Let's just release your raw footage from your laptop. A non-finished. Toby knew that he didn't have shit. And if you release that footage, everybody would be like, what the freak is this? It's unwatchable. It's unwatchable. And Warner Brothers was willing to release the Snyder Cut. They were actually going to release the Snyder Cut. Y'all want? Oh, yeah. Here's 4 hours of nothing. Some scenes don't even have, you can't even see the flash. Warner Brothers, they were like, no, what do you mean? Just release what you got on your laptop. So, no, not doing that because it doesn't exist. It's a bullshit cut. Zach said he called it shitty himself. You get a shitty version of the movie that you can point to and go, look at this garbage. So even Zach knew the movie's trash because it's not existent. It's not a finished anything. It's just raw footage. JODYDAMUS. I would rather just have the Snyder Cut be a mythical unicorn of all time rather than release what I actually have on my laptop. He said, instead of me releasing what I actually have on my laptop that all the fans said existed and they wanted, I'd rather say no. Snyder says, I'd rather not give the fans what they've been lobbying for 3 years because it will expose what I do not have. A freaking finished cut of a movie. Even though you showed those goddamn film canisters. You showed those motherfucking film canisters with nothing in it but raw footage, my guy. You played your motherfucking fan base, bro. And you got a W. Hey, finesse game is strong. You got $70 million, stressed out motherfucking Warner Brothers, stress me out, embolden your toxic fan base, and you getting your freaking movie on HBO Max with Jared Leto in that bitch. I respect the game, bro. I respect the game. You finessed your fans and used them and played them like a tune. Batman Returns. You played them. Good for you, bro. Snyder estimates that it cost $70 million to undo Whedon's redo. For that, HBO Max gets 4 hours of hotly anticipated programming and the Hollywood comeback story of a lifetime. Snyder himself gets nothing. I'm not getting paid, he says. If he was paid the first time, of course. This time he wants creative control, and foregoing a fee helped. I didn't want to be beholden to anyone, and it allowed me to keep my negotiating powers with these people pretty strong. And then we get into the gay Fisher, I guess, other shit. I don't freaking know. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the article. That is, that's elaborate proof of that. You know, I gave the proof months ago when Greenblatt himself said, it's not like there's a cut that actually exists. It does not exist. Those actual words, it doesn't exist, was from the executive Greenblatt, who is now, I believe, fired now. But even that wasn't enough. And these are Snyder's words. Ladies and gentlemen, you know, some of you guys could put the apologies in the chat. But I already know what's up, homie. Y'all gonna double down with y'all hate. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I can't wait. Shout out to that cult though, bro, right? Hey, Jody's Corner, we just stay taking dubs out here, man. And at the end of the day, the ultimate dub that we're gonna take, and Jody's Corner and DC fans who want the future, is that you guys will get your cut in March. It will do bad. It won't be good. And we could just move forward to Flashpoint, to finally delivering that haymaker AK-47 chopper that wipes out the cul-de-sac universe of SnyderVerse. Then, only then, will I rest, and I will ingratiate the future of DC. That's when we move on. When Flashpoint comes and runs SnyderVerse into a whole nother goddamn universe, that's when DC will be complete. And we can start working on this guy. And hopefully Warner Brothers allows Patty Jenkins to do the Superman movie that she asked for. Don't nobody want no black Superman, Warner Brothers. Listen to me now. Warner Brothers. Patty will do it. All you got to do is give it to her. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so very much for watching. I'm Jody Joe, JODYDAMUS, and we out. Deuces. Told you that I'm leaving.